Okay, well, thanks guys for coming. 2 out of however many. Hopefully we'll get some more next time. I was telling Melissa when she came in, like this is supposed to be one of those like basic classes to try to get people that have never done it before, and you guys, it's great for you guys too, because this is more of just a routine that I kind of have for different times of the day versus like what we do in the morning where we do a whole set and we go through. So this is just like different things we can do to boost our energy, loosen us up, when we're sitting too long, or sitting too long, or being on your feet too long. And we've all done both ends of that, and we need to take care of ourselves so we feel better in the long run. So we're gonna warm up just a little bit with arm swings, if you don't mind. So just because it's easy and I can talk while I do it, right? And that's what I like about arm swing. I'm not going to get into the whole arm swinging routine. We're not going to do a whole 10 minutes and what that can do for you. Other than right now, we're just we're regulating and we're getting our circulation going, and that's the idea. I'm going to obviously talk about ki a lot, and when I talk about ki, as I've mentioned in morning classes, it's breath and it's energy. And if you're not breathing, you don't have energy, right? It's as simple as that. So, right? You're breathing, you're dead, right? So, we're going to be focusing our breath through our movement, and the idea is just to re-energize and replenish and get a better state of mental clarity every once in a while with those deep breaths. All right, so nice and loose. This is enough arm swinging because we're going to do enough breathing through this evening anyway. All right, so let's pause on that. I'm going to do some basic fundamental reminders for you guys, but anybody watching the video, this might be new, might not be, might be a different spin on things. So couple just key concepts on the breathing is we're going to do diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. And there's lots of different kinds, but the easiest one is the belly breathing. That's the calming breaths. So if you place your hand on your stomach and you take a breath in, you feel your stomach inflate. If you exhale, it just relaxes, right? So inhale, and then exhale. And then one more time, and then exhale. So a lot of the Qigong sets, we're adding the breath to the movement, right? So we add the hands, right? If we bring our hands to a resting position, and just inhales, we bring them out, and then exhales, we bring them in. So now we're connecting movement to breathing. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And then we can also do it up and down. So if we inhales, we bring them up, and then exhales, we bring them down, and then inhales, we bring them up, and then exhales, we bring them down. And we'll do one more. And then exhale. And what's nice about just that, it's hard to freak out about things you're stressed out about when you're focusing on your breathing like that. So it just kind of brings you back here to take those couple extra breaths. And then also by adding the body movement, it adds an extra distraction for your brain. It just kind of brings it centered to where that now is. So a couple like reminders about how we stand and move. There's 4 key concepts to how we stand and move. The first one is we want to keep one point. The one point that we, in Korean it's the tanjan, right? So it's at 2 inches below the navel and 2 inches deep. So as I move, when we're in the martial arts classes, I talk about moving from your belt. All right, so every time I move, I want to move that center line first, right? I'm going to keep that point, and that's my concentrated point. And I want to keep that point underside. Think about like the times you've tripped and fallen down, whether it's forward or backwards. The reason you're falling down is because your weight is going out over top of you in some way. So it's either forward or backward or to the side. It's not underneath you anymore. So we want to keep that one point tucked underneath. That's usually when we're standing still with the feet shoulder width apart. It's about right dead center through your legs. You bend your knees, your pelvis tips, and you kind of settle into your stance, right? we also want to, when we're doing these movements, relax completely. All right. I think even when you're holding your arms up or moving them out, there's still a relaxation in the muscles as we move through. Sometimes we say like using your skeleton to hold you up. Right. So I'm just kind of moving through. I'm not using a whole lot of muscular tension to bring my arms up or move my legs around. So I'm relaxing completely. And the last thing is more of a mental than anything else. We want to extend our ki. So as we breathe, imagine that energy like flowing out of your arms or out of your legs or whatever that extended part is. So we're keeping one point, keeping that point underside, we're relaxing, and we're extending ki through all our movements. So those are the four reminders on how like we want to stand or move. And then the other thing, and Frank, I don't know, like we don't really I haven't touched about this in any of the classes really about the 6 harmonies. So there's 6 harmonies. There's 3 internal and there's 3 external. The external ones are just the way the body moves, right? So that walking in place. We have our hands and feet, all right? So they move in similar fashion. We have our hips and shoulders move in similar fashion, and our knees and elbows move in similar fashion. So like that walking in place type of thing is a great way to demonstrate that those 6 harmonies, because now they're all moving in sequence, right? And then we can further apply those other 4 concepts by keeping the weight underside, and that can help improve our balance in that way. So those are the 3 external harmonies. And then our internal harmonies, those things we want to keep in mind as we're doing a lot of these motions, these movements, these sets, is we want our heart to harmonize with our mind and our intentions. We want our intentions to harmonize with the ki, and then we want our ki to harmonize with the movement. So like we're setting everything in sequence rather than think about it. The way I was thinking about like that whole, all the way the internal harmonies are, is you don't want to swim upstream. You want to flow with the river, right? So I want to get everything in flow, heart, mind, and energy with my movement. And that's going to allow for the alignment of all the things that we're working on. Cool. All right, so I'm going to pause the video. Excellent. Okay, so I was telling you when you came in, and then Frank, you're going to recognize these 4 movements for the morning Energizer routine as 8 pieces, but we're just going to do half of them because the idea is to just get us moving. And the point I've made before in class is, what do animals do when they get up? They don't just like, yeah, they stretch and they yawn and they move and they wiggle, right? And then humans forgot they're animals at some point. They just like, have a cup of coffee, sit down and read the paper, and then, try to sit at a desk all day. And then we wonder why we're all clunky. So 4 movements is sometimes easier than 8, right? It's half the movements. It gives you, it's that way if you're crunch for time, but it lightens up the excuse of I don't have time to do any of this kind of stuff. Question.
On the 8 pieces,
the
movements outside of the angry eye,
right?
They're all to be. There's not supposed to be any kind of a
tension. We can vary on that one. I'm not going to do tension with this particular thing tonight. Oh, absolutely. On the note of 8 pieces, it's so old. There are so many variations on 8 pieces. It's like nobody can say they're right, honestly. Like the author's been since out of this realm for however many thousands of years at this point, who knows, hundreds at least, you know what I mean? Yeah. So who's to say how it was done? And who's to say, as long as you're getting benefit from it, then if you want to add tension, that's your flavor at that time, right? And then even as we do it today, this evening, absolutely. If you feel like adding the tension as you stretch and getting that little extra pop, absolutely, that's your flavor, right? I'm going to do a little bit gentler flavor, right, to get us moving in the beginning. So let's just get right into that. So the 4 movements we're going to use that you guys are, like I said, you've done 8 pieces, so you're familiar with it. We're going to do like holding up the sky or reaching up towards the heavens. We're going to do shooting the bow. You're going to separate heaven and earth, and we're going to do bouncing. All right. So the idea is like think about it, in the morning, we want to stretch, we want to get circulation moving, we want to loosen up the joints a little bit. That's what the goal of this would be to do, right? To get us ready for the day, right? Plus, oxygenate the body because we're going to be taking deep breaths throughout the entire thing. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're gonna hold up the sky. So we're going to interlace the fingers, take a big inhale as we reach up. Get to the top. We're going to exhale and let your arms fall down, big circular fashion. Good. And again, inhale. And then exhale. Again. Three. In. 4. 5. 6. 2 more. 7. Last one. 8. Very good. So we're opening up the chest. We're getting a nice deep breath in there, stretching out and lifting the spine a little bit. So shooting the bow, we're going to open up the chest again, but we're going to add a little squat just to get the legs moving a little bit. So the way that we're going to do it this evening is as we take our inhale, we're going to bring the hands into cross. As we exhale, we're going to sink down a little bit, whatever's comfortable for you as you draw your bow. So one hand comes to the chest, the other hand reaches out, 2 fingers extended. As we release, we inhale again. You're going to lift back up, bringing the hands around a circle, and then sink down and exhale, shoot to the other direction. Release and inhale. Lower and exhale. Release. Exhale. We're going to do 2 more, one each side. Last one. and then bring it back. All right, so we've opened up the chest. We're getting the legs moving. We're going to get a little bit of a twist on this next one. But first, so next one is separating heaven and earth. Again, feet are about shoulder width. We want to inhale, bring the hands in, gather about center of your chest. And then as we exhale, we're going to reach one hand high, one hand low. And then we'll inhale again. And then extend, exhale. Now we're going to give ourselves a little twist. We're going to inhale. Now as on the exhale of this one, just a nice gentle twist towards the bottom hand and look over your shoulder a little bit. And then inhale and bring everything back to your center line. So now we've got that gentle trunk twist. Exhale. Inhale. Do two more from here. As you inhale again, bring your hands to center. And exhale and let them float back down. So we've stretched both arms up at the same time. Big deep breaths, opened up our chest and moved our legs and knees. A little bit of twist in the spine. The last piece that we're going to do is the bouncing on our toes. This morning I was asked, or actually noted, that it's a little challenging to do the bounce on toes. And I thought about it for a second, and well, it's to promote balance. So anything that's supposed to increase something, and this is meant to increase your balance and promote like increased balance, it should be challenging, right? So bouncing on your toes is meant to promote some of your balance. Well, some people it is,
Okay,
right?
if it's a challenge, then
Right.
use the one finger.
And right. So if there's modifications, right? Like, so if it is a big challenge to balance on that, but some people that have balance issues or have balance challenges, we want to challenge them in different ways, and it does strengthen the feet as well after having different foot issues. So it promotes that balance. So like I feel like things that are meant to increase something should be a challenge, at least in the beginning, until you get the hang of it, right? So with this one, as we inhale, we're going to lift up onto the balls of the feet. We're going to hold our breath and bounce for six bounces, and then drop on the seventh. That's what I decided this evening. We're going to drop on the seventh, and we're going to exhale and just let everything drop. I think just creating that vibration for your body to invigorate everything, to wake up. All right. So we're going to take a big inhale, 6 bounces, and then drop. Good. We'll do that a few more times. In. Again. We'll do 2 more. My balance gets challenged as I do more of these. And then 1 more. Good. All right, so that's the little morning energizer routine. Like, what can we do when we get up? Just quick, right? Maybe you don't have time for 8 pieces, you do 4. All right. Maybe you don't have time for all 8 repetitions, you do 2 or 3. Right? Whatever. And part of the theme of this session this evening again is to make you realize you only need a couple minutes to do something. Any little bit helps to get you to moving around and energize. If you're feeling like you're low, let's do something for yourself to get you perked up again. All right. So from here, I'm going to pause the recording on, because that is a good question. Are there any directed towards the evening hours? Honestly, I feel like this whole thing you can kind of mix and match throughout your day. You can do 8 pieces in the middle of the day. I don't see why you couldn't do 8 pieces in the evening. Doing it with the tension, like you mentioned earlier, I feel like might amp you up a little bit for sleep time.
Yeah.
So I think for me, and I know there's outside the scope of what this is, like some sets are better for different times of the day, and that's a scope outside of what this would be. But I think, like, energetically anyway, I think it's also the way you do it. So that if you're just into it, like, think about when you're doing that. In the beginning of the day, great. If you want to amp yourself in the middle of the day, fine. If you're okay with, pump and iron before bedtime, then if that's your bag. But I don't think I'd be able to do a heavy workout and then fall asleep immediately. So if my goal is to go to bed, then I don't think I would tense into something. So there's that kind of, for me, right. Yes, shaking's energetic for me. Like I said, outside the scope of what this is, but yeah, like shaking is in the morning or during the middle of the day. Because I know when I'm done with like a good shaking session, I am just like, because everything's kind of like moving around. Maybe we'll do shaking someday in the morning class to give you an idea what that feels like. Like, no, we're not going to lay down and do that. I don't like doing lay down shaking, but I do enjoy the standing shaking. I feel like a cockroach on its way out if I do the lay down shaking. So yeah, so we'll get to the afternoon routine. That may or may not make the cut for the video. It could be a fun outtake. So midday we're gonna do longevity and rejuvenation. There's a mix of organ charging. We've got it that we've done in class. There's something we haven't done before that I think is really good for high stress day. And then we've got the massage that we've done before. So we're going to start with organ charging. And the spots that we're going to hit for organ charging, the upper chest we're looking for invigorating the lungs, and then about front of the chest. So I have upper towards down into the shoulders is more lungs, and then front of the chest would be the heart. Yeah, so with lungs, heart. We're going to do like liver and spleen. So like high torso, and then our stomach, and then bladder area or tangent area that we mentioned earlier, and then we'll get the kidney. So we'll work the center of the body, right? And then we'll do our arms. Well, that'll be separate, and our legs. All right, you joining in for this one? Okay. All right. So we're gonna do each one of these 36 times. I'm gonna do my best to count out loud and breathe while I do it. There's no special breathing to this. The goal is not to beat yourself up. I've seen people get really carried away with this. For me, it's just tapping enough to feel some sensation to bring the blood to the surface of the body and invigorate it that way. But bruising is not necessary. It's not necessary to make you to bruise yourself. And I've seen some people get pretty overzealous with this. But if it feels good, fine. If that's your bag, but I think you got the idea. All right, so we're gonna start with the lungs. You can cross the arms and then tap the lungs 36 times. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll move to the heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Move to liver and spleen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You ever hear that joke about karate instructors not being able to count? That happened right there. All right, stomach. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do the bladder. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you get the back and the kidney area. There's two ways. I usually do a mixture of both. You can lean, you can rub that area, or you can kind of tap and beat that area. I kind of do a mixture of just rubbing and whatever feels good. We're not going to do a number for that one. We're just going to give it a good, nice rub down and invigorate that kidney function. Warm up that lower back. All right. So we got the center of the body warmed up. We got all the organs charged and invigorated with energy. So now we're going to work our way up and down the arms. So for the arms, it's shoulder, bicep, forearm, and then we'll clap. And then it's back of the arm, back of the forearm, tricep, and then back of the shoulder. And we're going to do that 8 times on each arm, up and down. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excellent. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, now arms, we also got to do the legs. So legs is outside the hip, thighs, calves, ankles, and then the inside, ankles, calves, thighs, got that front of the hip. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we've got organ charging. We promote circulation by doing tapping on the arms and legs. Sometimes you feel a little tingly. That's, you know, Qigong guy, Qigong person. That's your key. Yes, right? So your ki is energized, so your blood is moving around, right? That's part of it, right? That circulation is going, that energy is flowing. Okay, so done the organ charging, we've done the tapping. Here's a fun one we haven't done, and this is something I would consider for a high stress day. You've had enough, right? Maybe the meeting went too long. One more kid asked you to get into his room because he forgot his key, right? Whatever the situation is, you're just right. So we're gonna rid toxic ki, like all those angry, terrible emotions. We're gonna rid it all out. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the earlobes and we're gonna squat down and ki op. Right. So ki is energy. Yeah. And when we ki op, just think of that squeeze in your abdomen, ha, as you leave. Yeah.
Let's not ruin these.
Yeah, don't break. We're not gonna break your. Yeah, please don't break those. So we're just gonna do 4, right? So we're not gonna make it nuts. We'll aggravate the people at the restaurant because that'll be fun. Like we do this every night during the karate class. We might as well do it during Qigong, huh?
We're going to not look directly at you.
Yeah, but yeah, we don't want to rid the toxic ki towards me. So veer off in the distance, right, and just rid it that way. Because again, and that's a good point. Like this energetically, I don't want to shoot my bad energy towards somebody else and have to give them a bad day too. So I mean, if you believe in like energy and how it affects other people, okay, let's make it a little bit less wooey than me shooting my energy at you. How many times you walk into a room and you know somebody's having a bad day because the whole room feels heavy? That's energy, right? They're giving off that energy. Somebody comes in the house, slams the door, grumbles throughout the door, whole tone of the room changes. That's energy. So that makes a lot of sense now when you put it that way. So like if I'm shooting my angry energy at somebody, that could affect you, right? Especially if somebody's really susceptible to that. So yeah, we're gonna do 4. Good. Thank you for bringing that point up. 4 good squats, good yells as you grab your earlobes and shout with a good ki op. Nice short ha. What do you mean?
You go first.
Me go first. Okay. I'm gonna go first. So you grab your earlobes, we're gonna squat down. Ha! Got it?
Okay.
All right. We're gonna do 4 more. Well, I'm gonna do 4 more. You're gonna do 4. Ready? Here we go. Ha! 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 Awesome. Feel better?
Different.
Good. Different is a change, right? Ridding toxic ki. I don't know. Ever get to the point where you just freak out, you start screaming or hitting something? I have. You know, like in angsty teenage years, you just totally lose it. That probably would have been more constructive than punching a wall and getting in trouble by, you know what I mean, or breaking something, or how many kids rage quit their games? All they had to do was go and sit, squat and shout in a corner, and they wouldn't have to break their controllers, rage quitting their games. You know what I mean? So it makes sense just to get it out, right? Sometimes we just want to the tea kettle thing, so to speak. We want to let that steam out.
You're hitting a point here.
Pressure points in the earlobes, right, and just right, keeps everything close and out through that way. So that was the extreme, right? We've reached the point of no return. We need to scream it out. And before we do the massage, we'll do one more. We'll do 4 hands knocking. So maybe we're sitting too long, standing too long. You want to get moving around. So feet shoulder width apart, right? We're going to swing from the hips. We're going to let the hands nice and loose. Front hand comes up to the shoulder. Back hand hits the point of the back. And you just let the momentum of your hips swing. Honestly, this is an arm swinging I like to do when I'm getting a little anxious. It helps calm my brain down with the movement. If I've been sitting too long, helps loosen my spine up. So yeah, great for the morning, great for midday, easily accessible, a little less extreme than squatting and ki-opping, right? If you're not in a place where you can isolate yourself and not have people want to call the cops on you or whatever else they would think from somebody squatting in the corner and yelling at the top of their lungs. And this is one of those ones I could do forever. This is just a nice one. Like a pendulum swing almost. On and on forever. Awesome. But I do have other things on the agenda, so we'll slow it down from here. So we've got organ charging, arms and legs circulation, screaming at the top of our lungs. Always good way to relieve stress. Loosen up the back with our forehands knocking. So we'll move on to some self-massage, a way to loosen up the joints of the smaller parts of our body, hands, fingers, and feet, and things like that. Things we tend to neglect. I feel like we're on our feet and using our hands so often, but we don't spend enough time taking care of them, right? Remember the first time, and yeah, obviously we can sit for this. We can, let's take a break. We'll sit for the whole thing. This will get the camera will get me on the ground. I made sure of that. So, but yeah, I honestly feel like we neglect. The first time I went for a massage and they massaged my hands and feet, like that was my favorite part, because like it's weird. Like I expected the bigger muscle groups that just instantly hurt. Like, like those you think about, you're on your legs all the time, like this, like the bigger muscle groups, the back, like shoulders always hurt. So you're expecting for the shoulders. And if you've got tight shoulders, for me anyway, it's not a pleasant experience until you get through those first couple knots, and then maybe my shoulder loosens up. But the hands and the feet, it's just like, oh, this is just so nice, right? You get your hands and feet massage, this is so nice. So you can do that for yourself, and it's really important to promote that circulation. And the other reason, like especially like now, where they're predicting the temperatures dropping down again, and the snow, I'm looking at my hands now and they're relatively warm and they're still purple. So like I have circulation issues, obviously. So stuff is really important for me to help move that around and make sure that I'm not getting frostbite, right? And making sure that my hands are nice and healthy. So we'll start with the hands. We'll start with the pinky, and we're just going to rub around each finger. Depends on who you talk to. Some people say 6 to 8. They give you a number. Some people give you like the time. Some people say till it feels good. I'm a good proponent of do it till it feels good. Move to the next finger. Honestly, I'm planning and calculating and counting so often during my day. The last thing I want to do is count again when I'm trying to relax, right? So I'll just move on to the next finger when I think I've done that one good enough. Next one. Working our way down the hand. I don't talk about meridians a lot when I do morning class, and I'm not really going to talk about them a lot here because it's, for me, this is like even below entry level. Like I said, I don't want you thinking about the like all the super specifics. I just want people doing this, right? But part of doing this, like with the hands and all the other things that we do, like we're hitting meridian points, we're hitting energy spots, or spots that are typically might get stuck, right? When during just day-to-day life. Once we're done with the fingers, we're gonna just rub the wrists nice and lightly. And the goal is not to hurt. We don't want to cause any excessive just like rubbing of the skin. We don't want the skin sloughing off at all. Just enough to move everything around. The bones of your hand should not be moving. Good. Continuing through the hand, we're gonna in between the bones in the hand, we're gonna just nice and easy through those spots. And then flip your hand over and work the muscles. Pinky, thumb, get that spot right in the center of your hand. Thinking about all the anime I watched, I'm thinking back now that like there's significance to the reason why they throw fireballs from that spot, right? Significant point. Good. We'll move on to the next hand. Keep moving your way down your fingers. And what's nice about any part of any of these sets, routines, whatever, you can take one piece of it and do whatever feels natural at the time. It's there's really no excuse not to take care of yourself at some point, even if it's for a couple minutes. It's better than 0 minutes. Think that like, and I get caught up in it too. Like we start thinking we have no time to do things, but I don't know. And then you try not to beat yourself up. But then I think about, how much time did I spend scrolling today when I could have been doing something else, right? That was more constructive. And, sometimes scrolling is part of, settling down, but sometimes that time is better well spent in other areas, on yourself. It's just a matter of perspective. The wrist. Good. Get in between the fingers. And get the bottom of the hand. So yeah, obviously this is working because I went from my hand being practically purple to now it's just like vibrant with color. Circulation's moving. Not that it wasn't in the first place, that would be necropsy, but you got the idea. All right, and then once I get the hand, I also like to take my fingers in the webs and just kind of move them this way, skate them over top of each other. I'll also do the thumbs. And from here, we'll start to transition to the head and face. So from here, we'll tap the fingertips. And then we're going to tap the scalp. And if there's any spot that's maybe a little bit more sensitive than the others, and spend a little bit extra time just tapping that. Good. So we're going to take your finger and right in that, like you're sitting at that third eye spot, and we're just going to rub that spot. Good. And we're going to warm up our hands if they're not already warm. And then we're going to rub the eyes in a circular fashion. So we're going to go in to out circles. We're going to do 8 of those, and we're going to go out the other direction and do 8 of those. So we're invigorating the eyes, waking them up. You're staring at the computer too long. You're sick of looking at the screens. It's a good way to get your eyes invigorated a little bit more. And also for the eyes, we're going to take our fingers and we're going to swoop across the eyelids. We're going to do that about eight or so times. And then we got the lower one, same thing. Good. Another spot, this is one of my favorite spots because I wear glasses. You're going to rub that spot where your glasses sit on the bridge of your nose. I don't know about you guys, like there's, you know, when I'm getting tired, doing all these things naturally, it's almost like my body saying, hey, I need some attention to my eyes and my and the bridge of my nose. Like I need some stimulation here. Help wake me up. Now we're sniffing. What I like to do for my sinuses, we're going to warm the insides of your thumbs up, and we're going to run our thumbs right up the inside of the nose and the nostrils. And then one more for the nose. This helps clears out the sinus a little bit. If you run your fingers down right along the nostrils there, they kind of sink in. There's a little spot there. We're just going to press on that. A little bit of pressure. And move it around a little bit. And that'll loosen that stuff up. Move from here to the ears. We're going to rub the ridge of the ears down. So the earlobes, warming those up. And then I also like, if I take my fingers and I pinch in between them, and I get the back of the ear also. It's a good way to warm those up if you forgot your hat. Get your ears warmed up. And the last one we'll do for the head area is just rubbing the back of the neck. A few times on with each hand. Like I said, how many times do you find yourself just naturally doing a lot of these? It's almost as if your body's telling you to do something. It needs help. I'm feeling the mic is going to pick up the shoulder clicking that's going on right now. That should be a fun. All right, so we've got our hands nice and warmed up. Our face is invigorated. We might as well work on our feet. So feet are similar to the hands. We're going to massage starting with the toes. All right, so you can work around the toe. You also want to press underneath the pad of the toe, like just kind of give it a little mush in there to move things around in that. So each toe, spend a little bit of time, like whether it's you do like 8 to 10 or so reps, or do it each toe for 30 seconds, or until it just feels good, move on to the next one. The idea is just to spend some time moving all that around on the feet we neglect so often. And while like I have this marked as a midday practice, like this is a perfect evening practice as well. Like I'll sit on the couch watching TV doing this. And then at the end of the day, great way to settle down. Can't get somebody to rub your feet, might as well do it yourself. So when we rub the toes, we're also, and this is good for your foot health, because the toe should be able to splay. Personally, I've switched completely to having my shoes all be the wide toe box so I can get my feet to naturally do what they should do. We're going to take our fingers and we're going to put them in between the toes to try to get to work on stretching those out. And the further you can get your fingers in, the better, right? And this, you know, over time I've gotten better. When I first started doing this, I could barely get my fingers in between my toes. I did not have a good range for that. But this is, I also on occasion, intermittently, I would get that plantar fasciitis where it would get nice and like, it would just be painful to walk all the time. I don't know if you've had it. When I started doing this on a more regular basis, like I haven't gotten it since. So between wearing the wider toe box shoes and then taking more care of my feet, I haven't had that foot pain that I used to get when just ever intermittently just because. All right, so we got the toes spread out, so we're gonna rub the ankle much like we did the wrists. And then just like on the hand, where we went in between the bones of the fingers, we're going to go in between the bones of the feet. And then underneath, same thing. And then there's a similar spot, just like there is on the hand, in the center of the hand. There's one in the center of the foot. Oh, the big toe right towards the center. You kind of feel it sink in. Spend some extra time in that spot. I don't know about you guys, even me doing this, I do this on a regular basis. My feet are still crunchy. There's still some knots to work through in my feet. Awesome. All right, let's move to the other foot. I got the pinky toe. Work your way down the foot. Big toe. Forget those pads. The name for it. I don't really know the official name for the big mushy part of your toe. Then we'll get in between the toes, spread them apart, get those fingers in there. Move your ankle around a little bit. Good. Only get the ankle. Excellent. I'll get those spots in between the bones of the feet, between the toes. Bottom of the foot. All right, excellent. So that's our midday. Honestly, any day, right? I separate it into things, but honestly, for the most part, all of these can be done at any time of the day. And as I mentioned, I don't want to do anything super aggressive right before I go to bed. However, these could absolutely be done before bedtime. But it's nice that I put it in for a midday. Um, maybe it's noon and it feels like 5, right? So you need a real quick way to kind of boost some energy up. So maybe you do a little quick tapping. You do some forehands knocking. Maybe you had a stressful meeting and that one person asked one too many questions. Lock yourself in the broom closet and scream a couple times with our squat and key op, right? But absolutely morning and get into a morning practice, that would be great as well. All right, so last part is evening routine. This one I would suggest for the evening because it's pulling from 6 healing sounds. We're going to do half of them. You can do the sound itself. There's also, but we're going to do the version that has a movement associated with that. And for me personally, it's easier for me to get in the mental space of just focusing on that one thing if I distract my brain with something else. And my distraction is the movement, and like, okay, I have to breathe and move this way. And that gets my mind out of the other 6 things that are millions of things that are going on in my brain. So now I can just focus on getting rid of anger, right? So that's kind of where I come from. Like, I like to do the movement with these things because it helps cut down on my mental background noise, if that makes any sense. We all have various degrees of that. So Qigong has helped me get rid of a lot of static. But with so we're going to work on 3 of the 6. And so the basis of this is to purge negative emotions. And the idea is that bog of daily life, that all those negative things, that anger, that the resentment, that fear, that worry, that gets stored in your organs. And I think the best example is like how many times you hear stress is killing people, because it affects your heart. It does affect your organs. And we need constructive ways to release those emotions that I feel we don't all have healthy coping mechanisms to allow that to happen. So the healing sounds are, I don't teach them until I have people that are invested a little bit in Qigong, because they're in the easiest way to put it is they're tipping into the edge of woo a little bit, because we're making a noise, right, as we exhale. We're thinking about a color, right? So each organ has a color associated with it, emotions that it stores, okay, and a movement that we're going to do, right, to do that. So we'll just dive into it. So we're going to do liver, heart, and spleen. The liver is thought to hold excessive anger, or anger in general, right? So we're gonna work to purge out excessive anger. The heart is thought to hold excessive joy and excitement, and like, well, why wouldn't you want a whole bunch of joy? And that can also cause impatience. And I was thinking about like how, and I'm constantly thinking of like, how can I explain to somebody like being excessively joyous can be bad. But then if you think about that little kid that's just waiting for that thing to happen, and how impatient and just like they make, they're a pest, right? Yeah. So yeah, grandchildren, right? So, and it's so like anything in excess is not good, right? We look for moderation. So, yeah, that's for me what like excessive joy looks like. It just causes a lot of impatience. Then I know that impatience is what causes the distress in our bodies. And then the spleen holds, I had this, and then for some reason I had a brain fart. Worry. Yes, worry. That's okay. And that's yellow, right? So the spleen, and so I didn't mention the colors. The spleen is worry, right? So throughout the day, like things we're worrying about, that weighs heavy on us, opposite the liver. The colors we're going to think about, so the liver would be green, the heart would be red, right? That's an obvious one. And then the spleen is yellow. So we have green, red, and yellow. We're going to work across the chest. So the way these work is we take an inhale, and as we inhale, we're going to do a movement of some sort and target that organ system. And then as we exhale, we're going to make the sound that's associated with expelling the emotion that we're working on expelling. Okay. So the first one is the liver. Just a reminder, it's green. We're expelling anger. All right. The way we're going to do it is as we inhale, and as we shift our weight, we're going to bring our hands out, and then your left hand is going to come down. Right. So if I mirror you, right. So I'm trying to do my liver as you do your liver.
Do it the real way. We can not mirror you.
Oh, yeah. So don't mirror me. Right. I'll explain what left from right, because that is important for the organ that you're targeting. So we're going to shift weight right. As you shift your weight, we're going to extend the arms, and then that left hand is going to come down, and I'm just going to say swirl. Right? I've read references that say figure 8. I cannot pat my head and rub my belly in this one, right? So I just swirl, right? So that's swirling, targeting that organ, right? Then we're going to hold our breath and we're going to pat, and you're going to imagine drowning your liver in vibrant green energy, right? So we're replenishing the bad stuff so we can purge the negative, right? So we're going to purge the anger. So we're holding our breath and patting in the energy. We're going to take a step forward, a slight step forward, pin the arm, put the arm down, pin it, and then make the sound shoo as we imagine that anger energy coming out of the arm and watching it come out right out of her hand. That makes sense? So real quick is here, swirl, hold and pat, pin, and shoo as we release. And you're going to just imagine shooing that anger away right out of your fingertips. Cool? This way. Right, you're squishing. Right, so we're patting the energy in without touching. We're squishing the organ. So think about wringing it out, right? That's a good way to think about it. Like we're wringing out the anger. So we pushed in all the good stuff, and then we're squishing out the anger that we want to get rid of. Okay, so we'll do 3 of these on each one. I think that's because text will say don't do more than, I think it's 6 per sound. So this way, if you want to practice it later on this evening, to give it a try. Is it 36 per 36? Sorry, 36 per day. So there's numbers associated with some of these, and I don't like to play with ancient knowledge because ancient people know more than I do. All right, so let's try the liver sound. So take a big inhale as you raise your hand up and swirl around. Hold your breath and imagine bathing your liver in green energy. Or step out, pin, and shoo. So we shoo the anger out. Try it 2 more times. Big inhale. Swirl. Pat that energy in. Pin. Shoo. We'll do 1 more. Big inhale. Pat that green energy in. Pin it down. Shoo. So that's the liver. We're expelling the anger. For the heart, remember, we're getting rid of the excess joy, and we're dispelling impatience. So with that one, as we inhale, we're going to raise our hands up and then settle them here. Your left hand, think of cradling your heart, and your right hand is going to think protecting your heart. So we're inhale, bring it to here, and then we're going to hold our breath and then pat red energy into our heart. On the exhale, we're going to make the sound ha as we raise up and release, imagining that impatience leaving our hands through the sky. Okay, so let's try that one 3 times. So you're going to inhale, bring your hands in, cradle the heart with the left, guard it with the right, pat, imagining that red energy filling up your heart, and then exhale, ha. And we'll bring it in again 2 more times. Big inhale, and then pat, And then exhale. Ha. And we'll do one more. Inhale. And then pat. And then ha. Excellent. All right, so then the third one we'll do is for the spleen. So that's yellow, and we're dispelling worry. So it's exactly opposite the liver. So I would shift my body weight to my left as I bring my left hand up. My right hand follows down and swirls around the area of my spleen. I'm going to hold my breath and pat that yellow energy in, pin my hand down, step out, and whoo, like an owl. So we'll bring it again. Inhale. Hold your breath and pat the yellow energy in. In. Whoo. We'll do one more. Inhale. Pat that yellow energy in. Pin it down. Whoo. And that's 6 healing sounds. That's like I said, I would definitely keep that to evening practice, because think about the buildup throughout the day. I would hope you're not having a nighttime where you would have to do that in the morning, but I mean, I don't see why it would be a bad thing to do to maybe clear the palate, so to speak. But I definitely feel like that's, out of all the things, that one definitely would be best at night versus anything else. Okay, so I have morning, noon, and night. So we did the half of the 8 pieces with stretching. We had a little bit more of a body movement to that with to get some of the more stretching and movement and lubricating of the joints, organ charging to energize throughout the day, some massage, and then we have our healing sounds in the evening. So to finish off, I just want to do like just a quick standing meditation, just kind of tie some of this together. And for me, meditation is not, well, it can be a lot of things. Guided meditations for me are closer on the lines of hypnosis, right? And there's nothing wrong with hypnosis in any way, but it's when I meditate, though, I'm reflecting. All right, I'm just letting my thoughts think. All right. So we did a lot of things tonight. We did the healing sounds. We did like the 8 pieces. So what I want you to do is we're going to take the standing meditation pose. Nice soft bend in your knees, remembering those 4 things from the beginning. We want to feet shoulder width apart, so we're going to keep our weight underside. That one point, our rotation, relaxing completely. So I'm just going to let my shoulders drop, my elbows drop. Imagine I'm holding a ball right in front of, right around my belly button is. And with the breathing we did earlier, nice deep breath in. Have a good night, and then breath out. And we're going to do that. Take 10 breaths on your own. Nice, slow 10 breaths. In, out. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Let your hands fall down. A nice meditation. Questions?
Yeah, I'm not going to remember the colors and all that.
That's okay. I'm going to send you the video of that, and then you can always email me. It's like, hey, I don't remember the color. We'll start doing them.
It's the key that's coming, or what that ending movement. Something's.
And that's the idea, right? And I'm glad you were able to feel that.
Oh, yeah.
And I would consider you like at this point an advanced practitioner because you can actually feel the energy moving.
Once again, I can.
Yeah, that's. I would honestly put you in the advanced practitioner category because I feel like
It's just
that's not something everybody can do. Is kind of feel that extension.
Well,
but
when I was going through rehab for the hip,
mm-hmm.
and I was talking with the PT physical therapist, and we started talking about I do breathing, Qigong, and all. Well, yeah, he's talking to me about it. He said, "Well, that's good." I said, "Yeah," and I can. Maybe I'm weird or something. And I can see it. She says, "No, you're not weird. People can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Other people, it's known."
Right. There's lots of words for it. There's lots of different sections of
doing this stuff and breathing and everything. It's the breathing that's the key to it. If you can, and it's still cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just weird.
Good. Yeah. And
there's no explanation.
And I mean, and you're proof that just a couple minutes a day, right? And like kind of my point, and like what